Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
The Minnesota Vikings are 9-2. Judd, I know this pains you based on the texts you've been sending to Declan and I the last half hour, but get the flag.
I've not been happy.
Wow. Well, I don't usually, we don't use curse words on this show, but just once. We told you, weird shit happens at Soldier Field.
There it is.
This was the definition today. Okay. This is Vikings Vent Line, the people show, the most fan-friendly show in all of Minnesota sports, where we turn the show over to you guys and bring as many Vikings fans on as we can here. We have plenty of thoughts ourselves, but if you'd like to get on the show, send a request to vikingsventline@gmail.com, and we'll try to get to as many of you as possible. Phil Mackey, the sports dad, Judd Zolgad, our executive producer, Declan Goff. Let's take the audience to Quick Trip here first to start the show, and then we'll give our biggest takeaways off this Vikings overtime victory over the Bears.
Well, you know what? The Vikings did win, but perhaps after that performance, you're thinking to yourself, you know what I need for dinner? Some good old-fashioned comfort food. Well, guess where you're going to find that? Quick Trip, because you're going to find everything you could possibly want at Quick Trip. Because you know what Quick Trip doesn't do? It never lets you down. Whether it be if you're thinking offense, defense, or hell, even special teams, Quick Trip's going to come through because they know the three phases of being a convenience store, being a grocery store, providing gasoline. Quick Trip for the win that doesn't make your heart sort of sink into your stomach.
Man, I feel like every time the Vikings play at Soldier Field, anytime anyone plays at Soldier Field, you kind of gear up for like a weird score or weird things happening. Mm-hmm. And we had a blocked field goal. We had a muffed punt. We had a fumble at the 1-yard line. We had the only successful onside kick in the NFL this season so far. Mm-hmm. We had an 11-point comeback or 11-point blown lead from a Vikings perspective in 22 seconds. Yep. And a member of the chain gang collapsed in overtime.
And then laughed.
Well, so did the stick break, or did he have a medical emergency?
I don't know, but he was when they showed him, he was smirking on the sidelines. I've never seen a guy collapse
to stay in the game.
So happy.
They forced him to the blue tent. He wanted to stay in the game.
Or perhaps his leg just was hurting and went out, and it wasn't. I don't know what it was, but that was, again, that is the Zolgadian request. Remove old guys from chain gangs.
Yeah, I think we could put a memo into the league.
Let's just get younger people in chain gangs.
What was your main takeaway today?
Well, my main takeaway from the end of when they led before the Bears comeback was pretty positive, but now it is, that ending, get your act together special teams wise. Like today was the perfect ingredients for how to lose a playoff game, right? The Aaron Jones fumble on the first possession at the 2 was brutal. But then it's okay, stuff happens to your point. But at the end of the game, first of all, why wasn't the Parker Romo, John Parker, I don't care what his name is, why wasn't that kickoff into the end zone? It was at the 5-yard line. Bears get a huge return, and the only guy that prevented it was Dallas Turner because he's so damn fast.
I'll answer that. I think the reason why you kick it short of the end zone is so they have to waste time fielding the kick. Of course, the downside is they could run it all the way down past the 50-yard line, but it's you could get them to chunk some clock off.
Bad strategy. Just go with what you do. And then the Johnny Munt. What are you thinking, dude? That was inexplicable, inexcusable, and damn near cost that team a game. That all anyone had to do was watch where that ball went and back off. And then the Bears are going to pick it up. It's a penalty. It's a Vikings ball, game done. So there were just a lot of and on both sides, but the Bears have a coach who is a dead man walking. There was just way too many things today that I thought were flawed and I thought were poor plays, which is really a shame because my original goal was to talk about Sam Darnold's day. No picks, looked really good. Mm-hmm. Justin Jefferson didn't have a statistically good game, but as Daryl Johnston corrected himself in saying his impact was enormous. Like at first when Johnston said something along the lines in the fourth quarter of, well, Jefferson hasn't really impacted the game at all. No, he impacted the game huge. Jordan Addison with a monster day because of Jefferson. So, like, there were a lot of positives to talk about, but I'm sorry, that end of the game was inexcusable. And Johnny Munt, I mean, dude, if you're on the team tomorrow, it's by the grace of God that Kevin O'Connell likes you.
Declan, what was your main takeaway watching that game?
Okay, so let me just take you into some of the things that I'm doing behind the scenes as I get ready for Vent Line, okay? So I get the thumbnails ready. I always have, 2 sets. I have the winning and I have a losing one. I even get the first field of Vent Line callers. I have a drafted email that's ready to go. And usually I get a little antsy, whether, I'm just antsy regardless. So I could just remove the if with the ellipses there. And I'm sitting on top of the stairs, even when they are near the red zone. The Bears are to get the first touchdown. And I'm like, this is fine because they need 2 possessions. So It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And I'm slowly getting back into my own seat on the couch, knowing I'm nowhere near going upstairs right now to start Vent Line. We still have another whole thing to go, especially when the onside kick, for the first time all season, bounces in favor of the team actually doing it successfully. So this was weird because I was actually okay with kicking the field goal. I know there was even a thought, does KOC just get the first down? Ball game's over. Like, if they don't elect to kick the field goal to go up 11, you could make the case if you get the first down, the game's over. The Bears were out of timeouts. But I was fine kicking the field goal, knowing, well, they're not going to get an onside kick even if they get the touchdown, a 2-point conversion. So I don't understand why we have to have the weird bleep happen with 22 seconds left against an inferior team with a buffoon of a head coach that you're in the driver's seat to win all game. So, yes, I am very frustrated, just like Judd is going to this.
I think so. I was totally fine with kicking the field goal to go up by 11, just because if you don't get the yard, now they just need to come down and score a touchdown, which they did.
I agree.
And so I was totally fine. It was 1:56 left. So it was under the 2-minute warning. If there was a beef on a 4th and 1 play, and I'm not a big call out play caller guy here, but it was with 12 minutes to go in the fourth quarter when you're up 24-10 on the 36-yard line, edge of field goal range. Going for it, I think, is the right move. You have a house of an athletic starting quarterback who's been great on quarterback sneaks. And to me, to not even go up there with the threat or showing a quarterback sneak, to just go shotgun and throw a pass in that spot, I think, because you already had a successful quarterback sneak or two, call it a tush push or whatever, early in the game. So if either run that, and I think we can all live with the result, but if you're not going to run that, fake it, run a play action, and do something off the success you created earlier in the game. And I'm not a big rip-on play calling guy, but I had a bad feeling off that play. Like, okay, well, you're still up by 14 points. But yeah, I mean, I just pulled up the win probability graph, which is hilarious. According to ESPN's graph, the Vikings, when they kicked that field goal to go up by 11, had a 99.9% chance to win that game. And then it actually swayed when the Bears won the coin toss in overtime. It went from 99.9% chance with under 2 minutes to go to the Bears having a 63% chance to win the game when they won the coin toss and had the ball.
Wow.
But Jonathan Grenard comes up with that huge sack. So, yeah, total epic disaster meltdown. One of the biggest, in terms of how many points you're up with how much time is left. I'd be curious how many teams have been up by 11 points with 25 seconds left and then had the game go to overtime or lost the game. Maybe Declan can look that up when he gets a chance. But on the flip side, okay, you just got smacked in the face and a lot of it was your own doing, by misfortune, incompetence, Soldier Field, all those things. And they took a deep breath and they marched right down the field. And Sam Darnold threw dagger after dagger on that final drive. And they did what they had to do to get out with a win, 9-2.
And I think the fair thing too is the guys that marched down actually had good days. Like this was not a colossal meltdown. Like Darnold threw 3 picks, right? Yeah. Now Jones fumbled on the first possession, which hurt, but he also came back, I thought, in the final 2 quarters and played really well. So this was just a meltdown of your own doing through some real stupid decision. Well, I mean, Johnny, what are you doing, dude? Like you literally, think about this. This was not it went 10 yards and he sort of got, out of phase. This was short. Everyone could have taken a step back, looked at the Bears and laughed. Like these are the things. So this was not like an entire meltdown. Darnold, Addison, Jefferson, a lot of guys did a great job, but you cannot make your life that difficult.
Yeah, it was, man. So I think we have a full room here, so we can start getting to some fans. But yeah, crazy game at Soldier Field, 30-27. The Vikings pull off their 9th win of the year. Prayers to those of you that had the Vikings at a -3.5 in this game. It was looking back up when they went to overtime. Oh, they can score a touchdown and get over there. But Dex, let's go to Vikings fans here. And by the way, there's over 5,000 of you hanging out on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. So thank you. If you haven't already, click that like button and the subscribe button as we look to keep growing this incredible community of Vikings fans. So who's first out of the gate, Dex?
Let's go to Colin in Florida to start. What's up, Colin? You're on Vent Line.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Interesting end of the game there. I think Johnny Munt shouldn't even be the practice squad starting tight end after that performance today. I will say one of the plays that was a little questionable, and why was Brandon Powell out on the one side on the play where Justin Jefferson caught a touchdown and got called for a penalty? I'm a little curious on that.
Brandon Powell actually sprung that touchdown. Are you talking about the one where he got called for the offensive pass interference? Yeah. So that's a designed pick play, whatever it is. But Powell is coached to not make it look obvious. Like his job on that play is to essentially cut off the cornerback that is supposed to be trailing Justin Jefferson, and it worked. But he just set a basketball screen, and you're not allowed to make it look that obvious. So yeah,
it seemed like he almost looked awkward even being on the field because it didn't look right. And the way that even when Jefferson was running into the end zone, he knew it wasn't going to be a touchdown. So it was a little curious as to why that happened. Also, I do want to make a suggestion: never go to Jacksonville to watch an NFL game. It is the worst stadium in the world to get out of. I was at the game last week. It took 2.5 hours to get out of a neighborhood. So if you're ever coming into town from Minnesota for a Jacksonville Jaguars game, just go somewhere else.
Turn around.
Go to a bar. Watch the game at a bar.
Thanks, Colin.
Thanks, Colin. Good advice. All right, let's keep rocking here.
All right, let's go to Elliot next year on Vent Line. Hey, Elliot, what's up, man? You're on Vent Line.
Hey, guys. Crazy game at the end there. I thought it was great we could free 3. I mean, if JJ can't get his hands on the ball, we might have to end up actually paying him quite a lot of money to stay, and that'll be a lot of money in the wide receiver room. But I got to say, I've never laughed harder this season when I saw the Bears guy waving off the punt, and then it bounces right into his ankle. That was just something else.
Yeah, that was
incredible.
He's
doing a Peter call for his teammates, and then he ends up being the guy the ball hits.
Yeah, that was brutal, man. I mean, some of the brain fart things, and even the Powell thing, that was a perfectly designed play to spring Justin Jefferson. But dude, you can't just go over there.
Well, he blocked him.
Block a guy.
You can't block. You're supposed to just create the diversion, not go like this.
You basically can't brace yourself in the way that.
Yeah, that's not a bad.
But
that's not a bad play at all.
This was until overtime. Jefferson had 1 catch for 7 yards, and it would have been the worst statistical game of his career. The fewest yards he's ever had in a game was 14, and the fewest catches was 2. Those are 2 separate games. But the 1 for 7 would have been, in both categories, the worst statistical game of his career until he caught that huge 20-yarder in overtime.
Yep. But he drew 2 PIs for what, a combined 50 yards, I think?
Yep.
So,
and his presence in gravity springs open other players, for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go to John and Riley here. John, birthday boy John, too, right?
Yep.
Happy birthday.
Wow,
man.
happy birthday, man. Vikings gave you a nice, aesthetically pleasing victory today.
And we got Winnie here, too.
With her Vikings
Winnie.
jersey.
Oh, I love
who's
it.
a good
Hi,
girl?
Hi, Winnie.
Don't have too much to say. Great run game today against pretty good Bears defense, I suppose, especially with Reisner and Questenberry in there. Not necessarily known, I think, to be run blockers, but I think Aaron Jones averaged 5 yards a carry, which is crazy. What's your hot take, Riley?
They did that chain guy dirty when they replayed him falling on national
They did, right? Yeah, that was probably one of the worst moments of that guy's life. And let's slow that down again if we could. There, can we get the
Hey, you know what? Cameras are everywhere, baby. The cameras are spare nobody.
I love how we use the boundary cam twice in that game. Once to show an angle that we're not allowed to use apparently because not every stadium has it, and then the second time to show the chain gang guy collapsing. So, yeah.
Last thing too, I know it was annoying to be like an empty set on the 4th and 1. That was ridiculous. But the play call on the 3rd and 13 when Mullins came in, I think it was 3rd and 13, was actually pretty good. That was pretty, because you didn't want him throwing a 20-yard bomb like he can, right? You want like a high percentage throw. That was a great call. So he made up for it, in my opinion, with that. That's all I got.
My first words were, "Oh no!" I saw him dropping back to pass, right? and I knew he had to pass, and I still said, "Oh no!" It was an
empty set then too, and I'm like, "What do we just do a draw or something?" Or I don't know, like,
just punt, end up punting, whatever.
Yes, yep, exactly. So that was a good call, well designed play.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for coming in here, John and Riley.
Happy birthday, John.
Birthday boy, dude. Nick Mullins is now, because he's come in like huge situations where you got to move the chains here. He's now 2 for 2 with 2 first down passes and I think 38 yards. And then he just comes right back out.
Yep, exactly.
No warm-up throws, really. Just, dude, get out there. We're going to call it pass
for him, you do not want him to get confident, because if he gets confident, that's when he goes and becomes YOLO Nick. So basically what you want to say is, here's what you're going to do on this play, and then you can come right out, Nick.
But if he starts feeling himself a little bit too much,
then it's like, bang, bang.
Kind of dangerous. Oh, man. All right, let's keep rocking Vikings Vent Line.
All right, let's go to Brock next year. Hey, Brock, what's up, man? You're on Vent Line.
Hey, guys. First time calling in, but I have 2 takes that I kind of want to take. First off, when I saw Sam Darnold go down, I immediately saw that we're calling for the Adam Schefter tweet earlier today. So I immediately thought we were calling Danny Dimes to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Second one was Josh Oliver. Him missing the game is a huge portion, because you have Josh Oliver on the onside kick. You also have Josh Oliver not getting the false start penalty on that last drive in overtime. Josh Oliver is a big key component that we missed today.
Absolutely.
Big time. Yeah. No, good point, Brock. And thanks for making your debut on Vent Line. And I would say on defense, too, there's a bunch of things to talk about, because Caleb Williams wound up with 340 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no picks, only took 3 sacks.
Yep.
Ivan Pace being out after like 5 plays, huge deal.
Yep.
You saw Van Ginkel came off late at one point.
He wasn't on for the last Bears touchdown drive. Turner was. And so I'm like, is something wrong? Because he played a ton, but then he was back after that. So I guess it was a rotational thing. It's just he plays so many snaps. I thought at a point like that, he wouldn't come out.
Yeah. I'll say this, and maybe Vikings fans don't want to hear this, but another one of my main takeaways today is Caleb Williams can play. I mean, he's been stuck in this. They fire this offensive coordinator that clearly just should not have been in that position to begin with. And now the last couple weeks, that Packers game last week, now that they're giving him permission to use his legs more and just sort of be him. Mm-hmm. And man, like that play where he's sprinting out to the right, avoiding a sack off one leg falling out of bounds, and he hits DeAndre Swift over the shoulder. I mean, that dude makes some crazy plays. And I guess I'm not as offended that he threw for 340 yards. Not ideal for this defense. But they were kind of caught between, do we send the farm and pressure him? But if we do that and we don't get home, now he's going to run the ball for 80 or 90 yards or 100 yards, which he's capable of. So it felt like they were kind of caught between how to handle him and how to corral him.
When the Bears get a real head coach, the Bears are going to be a problem. There's a lot to like. There's a lot to like there. And they are so poorly coached from like an overall, right? Like the special team stuff. Like literally, okay, you got to wave your teammates off. Okay, I will. Oh, the ball just hit me. There's just a lot of things. Like Eberflus is probably a good defensive coordinator, and that's it. But if Ben Johnson gets that job, I think the Bears become a problem next season.
Yeah. All right, Declan, who's next on Vikings Vent Line?
Yeah, let's go to Jade next year. What's up, Jade? You're on Vent Line.
Hey, first-time caller. My first point is that Aaron Jones fumble change the game in more ways than we might even think, because going into it, my idea was that Jones was going to be the game plan, and the Bears are pretty average against the run. Without their nose tackle, I thought they were going to be even worse, and they could not stop him at all on that first drive. So I was ready for an easy cruise to victory, and then I think KFC got away from the game plan a little bit after that fumble. And for as great as he is as a leader, I don't think it's a hot take to say that his in-game adjustments with play calling leave a little bit to be desired. And then the last point I want to bring up before I leave is when are we going to get a handle on this whole like 2-point conversion math? Because a bunch of Bears fans on Twitter, I still call it Twitter, I'm not going to call it X, were complaining about Eberflus going for 2 down 14 and saying that they would have won that game in regulation if they just kicked the extra point. And I'm like, where are we getting confused here? Down 14, go for 2 if you miss it. It all worked out. They made it to overtime. Thank God we won. My heart's still racing. That's it.
Yeah, no, Jade, thanks
Jade.
for jumping on. Let's come back to the 2-point conversion thing, because announcers are still having a hard time explaining why you do it. Not everyone's fully on board. So the Aaron Jones fumble, the Vikings, I think, are like second in terms of just volume of turnovers. But they threw a stat out when he came back and ran in for a touchdown, that was the first second half rushing touchdown by a Vikings running back in 27 games.
Yep. Yep. And the record is something by like a team from Dayton, Ohio.
The Dayton, what was it? It was a hilarious
like the
mascot.
1930s or something.
And and that was only 31 games. So the Vikings
the
were
Dayton Triangles.
The Dayton Triangles. And that was 31 by Dayton. So they were dangerously close.
Okay,
awesome.
the Dayton Triangles, if Pro Football Reference is correct, the last year that the Dayton Triangles operated was 1929.
Okay.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's even worse for them, because in 1929, you were only running the football.
Yeah.
You had like 4 running backs behind.
We don't know. Perhaps they were airing the ball out and they've been forgotten about.
Well, they didn't win a single game in their last 2 years as a pro football team. So,
okay, well, then they clearly didn't air the ball out well.
On the 2-point math, there's a bunch of smart statisticians that have done the real legwork on this, but if you think about it logically, so you're down by 2 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. Your goal is to win the game, not tie the game. Right. And where people get tripped up is like, well, if you just score 2 touchdowns and take the gimme extra points, then you've accomplished your goal. You have tied the game. No, your goal is to win the game. Mm-hmm. So if you're down by 14, you have to score 3 times if you do it that way, and prevent them from scoring, by the way.
Right.
But if you if you do a 2-point conversion to start with and you get it, now you only need to score 1 more time to win the game. And if you whiff on the 2-point conversion, you're still down by 8, and you could make up ground and tie the game and send it to overtime. So it's more likely to score touchdown, and a 2-point conversion after the first touchdown than it is to score touchdown, and score a 3rd time.
Right.
I guess that's the best way I can explain it.
And plus, the PAT is not the gimme it once was too. And if you're the Bears, so like it's, of all the things that the Bears might have done poorly today, that was one I had no problem with. I thought that was smart. I have a much bigger problem with your 4th down going empty shotgun Darnold KOC decision than I do with trying to go for 2 there.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right, let's keep it moving here. Vikings Vent Line, Purple Daily YouTube channel.
All right. I think Ben is outside the stadium. Ben, can you hear us?
Yeah. Hey, guys. Cheers. What a game.
What's
Gentlemen.
going on? Let's go, Vikes. Let's go.
Here.
On Soldier Field. What a game, man. That was insane. We had a blast.
Jimmy, what's the vibe out there? What's the vibe?
The vibe is, I don't know. It's pretty heavy Vikings. Bears fans, I think they appreciated the comeback, so they're not as sour overall. But the Vikings fans, we are having a blast.
We got a nice loud Green Bay sucks. Green Bay sucks.
This is for you guys.
Green Bay sucks.
Oh, Judd's got the flag for you guys.
Judd's
got the
Let's
Judd's got the
go.
flag.
There you go.
Judd, let's go.
That's for you guys, huh?
Yeah,
Shout out.
The biggest takeaway, though, is like, how did they not have that meltdown at the end?
Let's go.
Awesome. Cheers, guys.
appreciate you guys. You guys are amazing.
Yeah, you guys are the best.
Go Vikes.
Go Bucks.
We got
All right,
it done.
boys. Love it, man.
Thanks.
Love it, man.
That's awesome.
We got Ben. We got my guy Jimmy out there. It's so much fun when people call in from the stadium. So yeah, let's definitely keep making that a thing. Let's keep making that a thing.
All right, let's we'll go back here to the callers. Let's go to, is it C?
Cy.
Cy, what's up, man?
Hey, how you doing, guys? Love the show. Listen to it every day, and I appreciate you guys' takes. Pretty much just have the same reiteration of everything. Well, let me start out with this chain gang guy and that stupid smirk. All right, we're going through enough here as Vikings fans, right? We lose the lead, we go to overtime, and then we got this schmuck on the sideline smiling after he fell down. What are we doing?
Clear his ass off the field. Listen, we got a drive going, buddy. Okay.
Exactly.
I don't care if you're having a medical emergency. There's a football game happening.
I do not care at all. Sorry. That 4th and 1, yeah, come on. We go. It's almost like what happened earlier where the Bears were going to punt and then the fans started booing, so then they went for it and made it. Well, we went out. We were going to do the QB sneaks, which has been working with Darnold. Then we come back, do that stupid shotgun play. We can always, second guess it when it doesn't work. But, and I was texting with a buddy of mine. This might be the worst win unenjoyable win that I've seen. And I remembered that Jacksonville game that we played a couple weeks ago. But, anyways, hey, let's wave the flag.
You got it, Cy. Ask you shall receive.
Thanks, Cy.
We're gonna fray Judd's labrums before the end of this show,
and he's gonna be smiling about it too by the time that labrum's torn by.
That's
the end
right.
of the show. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the guy was. I think he was embarrassed because it looked like either the stick kind of buckled. Because didn't they have to go get a new stick from the back?
Yes.
So maybe the stick kind of buckled, and and then he kind of like tore his knee or something, and he was embarrassed.
I don't know.
And they were getting him water.
Again, see you, dude. Just go watch games.
Go away. Go away.
Let's keep rocking here. Vikings Vent Line.
All right, let's go to Eric and James next year on Vent Line. What's up, guys?
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Hey.
Good. Just want to say the chain gang, they have this technology now. Can't they make something that's like laser or something to measure instead of this chains?
Between the chain gang thing and the boundary cam thing that what's his name? Mike Pereira said, so here's a great angle that confirms the play, but the replay officials don't get access to this because not all stadiums have access to the boundary cam. This is like a $20 billion league, and we can't get boundary cam in every single stadium?
Measure that. But also, the Vikings are 9-2. That's after today. Everyone's probably at the beginning of the year or even after the Raiders game, picked the Vikings to be 5, 4, 6 wins, 7 wins. So anything right now is just house money. We just keep going and keep rolling, I think. What are you going to say, James?
Judd.
Wave
the flag.
He's got a message on the paper. Judd, wave the flag.
There it is.
Wear that labrum.
There it is.
Go Vikings.
Thanks, guys. Eric and James. How are we feeling, Judd? 30 minutes in. Thought people might be more mad, but this is the most flag waving calls we probably had.
I feel like
in the first 30 minutes.
I feel like it's more amused because the game was just so bizarre.
Yeah, and in general, I don't know how many Vikings fans expect anything other than just a get out of Soldier Field with a victory win.
Well,
most years, it's just a weird place. Just get out of there.
My annoyance is things that can and should be, for the most part, cleaned up. But it's actually worse when Darnold throws 3 picks, because then you're sort of like, well, you're screwed. Sam Darnold had a great day. Like if they had won that game, like it looked that they were going to, we'd be talking about Sam Darnold's day.
Well, and we probably should, because 330, 2 touchdowns, the game-winning drive, great throws on that drive.
Yep.
And he set a new career high in touchdown passes for a single season. Mm-hmm. So he threw 2 at the 20th and 21st of the season. 20 is a new record for him. He's up to 21 and maybe well on his way to 30. So, yeah, he was great. And by the way, Nick, if you throw in the 1-for-1, 14 yards Nick Mullins completion, the Vikings quarterbacks combined for a 116.8 passer rating, Well, the Bears defense had held opposing quarterbacks collectively to an 80.2 passer rating going into this game. So for those guys to go out on the road against a really formidable defense, especially the pass defense, and to go 37 points higher than the Bears usually allow, that's pretty good. I think you'll take that. And no devastating pick sixes. I was getting visions of like overtime, pick six, the way that game was trending, and
Darnold looked that OT session offensively from the Viking standpoint. I thought he looked very under control, which pleasantly surprised me because I didn't know. Like all hell is breaking loose. Chain gang guy buys the Bears some time. Perhaps is that what happened? Perhaps was he buying the defense some time?
Conspiracy theorist, Judd.
Where's he from? Where's the chain gang?
Well,
Are
he's
those
from
local
Chicago.
guys?
Yeah, the chain gang is all I think guys that live in that town. But if you think about it, Bears defense getting a little gassed. Chain gang, oh my leg, my leg.
Just a little water. Just need a little water. Yeah, just put some.
And then they
rub
stick
some
him in
dirt
the
on
tent. And by the way, get out of that tent. That's the Vikings tent, dude. Like we need that tent for potential guys that play for the Vikings, real athletes. Just get your ass off the field entirely.
He walks in and Ivan Pace, Cam Robinson, a bunch of guys are in there.
Who the hell are you? I'm Chain Gang guy, and I'm buying time for the Bears defense.
Bears fans were booing him. Bears fans should have been cheering him.
I don't
Dude,
think
he's giving your defense.
Yeah,
your
I don't think Bears
defensive.
fans got what he was. I'm just saying, for a guy, he like mildly limped too. It just didn't look totally believable.
Bears fans, should calm down. All right, let's keep going here. Vikings Vent Line on the Purple Daily YouTube channel.
All right, let's go to Nate here. Nate. Hi, Nate. What's going on?
Nate. Hey, dude.
Nate.
I don't think Nate knows
his
he's
house
on
right
with
now.
us.
Yep.
Let's put Nate on pause there.
That was
I think
an
I saw a
interesting camera
binky.
angle right there.
Yeah, I saw a binky earlier too, so I think he's dealing with a kid. So let's
okay.
go to Steven instead. Steven, what's up, man?
Hey, fellas. Hey, Mackie, I think you got that all wrong. I think that ref was playing up for the Vikings. We driving down the field after we finally got him off the sideline there. So,
yeah, maybe he flipped some sort of luck switch. I don't know.
Hey, well, I do need a Xanax after that game, but I'll take a Judd flag though to help calm me down after that.
Hold on. Oh, yeah.
There it is. Wait.
Okay, I'm powering through.
I could come up and be very negative, but look, I mean, we won 3 games back to back on the road. The Jacksonville game was ugly. This game, oh my gosh. I mean, I was going to reference, you stole my stat there. We were 99.9% favorites after the JPR field goal, which, by the way, he needs to go back to JPR because we're going to be chanting JPR once we get back to US Bank.
His agent and management team needs to be on top of this. Like JPR, much more marketable.
Yep.
We could be selling merch that says JPR Victory Monday. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But
so right.
Look, the Bears are going to bear, right? Eberflus, if we were playing a competent head coach, would have probably lost that game. I have never seen such an improbable comeback. I mean, the fact that you have to get a touchdown, a 2-point conversion, a successful onside kick, and then the field goal. Like, my heart sunk. But you know what? Watching that game, I wouldn't put it past the Vikings. They're the team that would do that. Yeah. And, we had to have our typical scripted first drive down the field, get in the red zone, turn the ball over. I mean, the turnovers for this team has just been such a disappointment. And you know what? It props to Darnold. He didn't turn the ball over. And I got a silver lining on that front that I'll talk about in a moment. I just was shocked we couldn't get more pressure on Caleb. I don't know if he was just so slippery all game or if our guys just couldn't tackle him, but you had Van Ginkel almost grab him up a couple different times. And then that's when he got his running back down the field for the big first down. I don't know if Caleb looked good or if we just couldn't finish the job on our pressures. I'm done with Johnny Munt. I'm sorry. I feel like he hurt this team. I think he had a really bad holding call, if I'm not mistaken, earlier too. And then just the fact that he was in the way on that onside kick. I mean, that cemented the deal right there. And I had on the positive side of this game that we did not beat ourselves with penalties. We were doing really, really well. We cleaned that up, it seems, the last couple weeks. And then we go to overtime and we have a penalty that knocks us back to 1st and 15. And then we get the first down. And then what happens? You get another holding penalty and we go back to 1st and 20. So really my silver lining in all of this is Sam Darnold. That was a fourth quarter comeback. He looked very poised. He looked very comfortable. He looked confident. He got the ball downfield. He was getting rid of the ball a little bit quicker there. He wasn't taking the sack, moving up in the pocket. I think KOC's done a great job with Darnold the last few weeks. If he can just keep playing to that formula and we can tighten things up, we still haven't had a complete game. And I feel like I've been saying that for 2.5 years now. But if he can just clean that up, this is the winning formula. I mean, this was such a huge game. It's a division game. And ultimately, I think week 18 against the Lions, that's gonna be for the division here, folks. So hopefully the mustache stays alive. Dex, I expect to see yours after No Shave November.
That's right.
And let's keep the good vibes coming. I'm glad to see Jordan Addison dominating again too. So
Judd, let's get the flag for Steven's mustache wax. Actually, it was whatever he's using on the tip ends there.
There we are. I'm going out again.
Let's go.
Thanks, Steve.
Love it, man.
Awesome, man. Yeah, he went through a bunch of really good points. But on the turnover thing, and this is just more PTSD, it's overtime, you got the ball back, and Darnold on that one play is sitting back in the pocket. It's a long develop. And they showed the all-22 angle, and he was waiting for Jefferson, but the Bears had, I think it was 2 safeties just back blanketing him.
Yeah.
It was a good decision to not try and throw that ball, because if it's a pick, now the Bears just need 20 yards. But that defensive lineman came flying in. Full wind-up punch on the football.
It's Montez Sweat, right?
Yes, Montez Sweat.
Yeah.
Full punch. Somehow Darnold doesn't fumble it.
Yep.
And then Darnold's laying on the ground, kind of on top of Montez Sweat's leg. And out of frustration, the play's over, and Sweat takes one more punch at the ball, and Darnold still hangs onto it, and then he pounds the ground like, dang it. That was my shot. That's kind of how I thought the game was going to end, though. Like, Darnold gets strip sacked or something. And
yeah. Darnold threw... I thought in the entire game he threw one really bad, dangerous pass, and that was, I think, first quarter to Jefferson, like a crossing route, and it's the one where it almost got picked off. I think it went through the hands of the defensive back, but after that, I thought he didn't throw like he certainly wasn't perfect, but like those high danger, oh my god passes, evaporated, and that is what freeing 3 does.
Well, three has officially been freed, I feel like.
Yeah. But I mean now you're seeing why. You're seeing, look, I'm sure that Jefferson is somewhat frustrated, and I totally get that. But Jefferson had an enormous day. It was just through the powers of 3.
Yeah. Hey, before we get to a bunch more Vikings fans here, Dex, did Underdog have anything that said like crazy ass plays at Soldier Field 3.5 more or less?
It didn't. It unfortunately didn't. I was hoping for a Caleb Williams interception there. I thought Hawk, who probably actually had his biggest day statistically today, I thought he was going to find the end zone. But that's okay. That's part of the fun at Underdog. AJ and I were winning some stuff on NBA over the weekend. You can be winning across all different sorts of things at Underdog. You can start new fantasy football teams every single week. You can have cross-sport entries in the pick'ems, and new users still get a 50% deposit match when they use promo code SCORE. SKOR when they sign up at Underdog on the App Store, on the Google Play Store. They have a good website too. Promo code SCORE, SKOR, at Underdog.
Forgot to put my Black Stack hoodie on here, but it's
look at that guy.
Beautiful,
that's
glorious
nice.
Black Stack. Black Stack Brewing here on Purple Daily and Vent Line. You can find Black Stack all over the state of Minnesota in your favorite liquor stores. You can also find Black Stack inside US Bank Stadium during Vikings games. If you're wondering how to sample, go to blackstackbrewing.com, the where to buy page, and you'll be able to find somewhere nearby, or stop into their incredible tap room.
Oh yeah.
Where, I mean, it's like couch, it's like a lounge sort of in a brewery. They constantly have food trucks, Taco Tuesday, and it's the former Spam Can Factory over in the St. Paul area. Just an amazing space. I was there last week hanging out for like an hour and a half. Extensive beer selection, and also hard seltzer cocktails, boozy slushies, and even root beer that they brew themselves. Blackstackbrewing.com to see what events they are hosting this month. Judd, how about Canopy Group, too? Let's talk about Canopy Group for a second before we jump back in to get more reaction from this game.
Absolutely. An in-state-based independent insurance company that has your best interest in mind right there, the Canopy Group. They're, you know what? much like a sports executive, a GM constantly on the lookout for the best talent available. Well, the Canopy Group, they're going to do the same for you when it comes to getting the best insurance coverage for you at the best price. They work with 16 groups of top-tier companies to make sure that you have the best insurance roster available for auto, home, health, and business. Teams need options, and so do you. At renewal, you're going to hear from the Canopy Group because you deserve better than the status quo. That's right. They're always on the lookout for the best deal for you. Give them a call, 1-800-967-3389, or check out their website, canopygroup.com. That's the canopygroup.com, always looking out for you to make sure that you're getting the best rates.
All right, guys. Vikings Vent Line, there's still 5,000 of you hanging out with us here 40 minutes into that crazy ending here. A 30-27 win for the Vikings. They're 9-2. They're now 5-1 on the road as well, and that's their 5th consecutive win at Soldier Field, which hasn't happened since like the 1960s. So pretty incredible stuff, the good and the bad. But let's go back to Vikings fans here. If you haven't already, please click that subscribe button and the like button on the Purple Daily YouTube channel, and to help us keep growing this thing. Over 50,000 subscribers now on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. Dex, who do you got next?
All right, let's go to Campbell next year. Hey, Campbell, what's up?
Hey, what's up, fellas? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Jordan Addison just came through with a monster game. 8 catches on 9 targets. That's exactly what you need when your number one is bracketed all game. I think he came up huge. Aaron Jones, TJ Hawkinson, big games. And then just on the failed onside kick, what is Johnny Munt doing? He went to deck someone. Didn't even go for the ball. I'm not a football expert by any means, but I'm pretty sure the receiving team can catch the ball before it goes 10 yards.
Yeah. So you don't have to be a football expert to watch that failed disaster onside kick and be like, what are they doing?
Yeah, seriously. But the defense came up clutch in the end, and now hopefully the Wolves can pull this one out, down 10 against the Celtics. So.
Yeah, the
Thanks for
Wolves are
having me on,
tucking this Wolves game away. Thanks for coming on, Campbell. Yeah, we'd give you a live Wolves update. 95-85 Celtics with 7:40 left in the fourth quarter.
Okay.
So, got an uphill climb and chemistry issues that we'll talk about tomorrow.
We're all getting along fine.
The Wolves
I read it. No,
episode.
we're all getting along fine now, okay? It was nothing. All brothers fight.
Yeah. No family's perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Do families play dodgeball with each other in the middle of a tight game in the fourth quarter and pout? I don't know.
Yep.
Let's go to David in Calgary next year. Hey, David.
Oh, nice.
Hey, guys. How we doing?
Good, man.
Hey, David.
Good.
So I'm a teacher, so I like to give criticism in like a sandwich, and like a positive first and then a positive at the end, and sandwich it with some sort of criticism. So that's what we're going to do. Jets. JJ. Everyone's got to love playing with this dude. Like, honestly, the thing that you said at the very beginning, like, everyone benefits from just being in his orbit because you just become that much more open. 2, 3, 4 guys always around number 18. Awesome. KOC. Not reaching for plays. You say that you don't like to take these risks, but in the red zone, 4th and 1, take the field goal, man. You pretend like you don't care about blowing teams out, but I think you really do. I think you honestly care about blowing teams out. And if you would have just taken 3 there, you put us in a precarious spot that we didn't need to be in. Sling and Sammy D. Let's go, dude. Let's go. That has to be huge for your confidence. Amazing stuff. You tough son of a B. Let's go.
Love it, dude. Love it.
Let's go.
Nice stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey.
Boom. Boom.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, yeah. Start them young.
That's amazing. David in Calgary. The only thing about Darnold, there's a couple plays where I thought he could have stepped up and just run. There was that one, maybe it was the 4th and 1 where he throws the incomplete pass. Like, he probably could have ran for that for 5 yards.
Yeah.
But he only took off twice in this game for -1 yard, including the tush-push sneak.
Yeah.
So we didn't see as much of that from him today.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to another David next year on Vent Line. David, what's up?
Hey guys, Dex, thanks for having me. Phil, BHS alum, and Dex, SCSU alum, so got some ties there.
Oh, Bison.
Can I just say I hate Soldier Field? Just every time we go there, there's a game like this that happens. To your point, Judd, though, there's always games like this every week. The Chiefs again had a close game. So, but I At no point did I think we didn't have the game in control for me. Even when we went into overtime, I don't know, I just felt we had it in control, and, we are a good team, and we got it done, and we're united too. Sam looked good. That's another awesome sign moving forward. I hope our left tackle's okay. Have we heard any updates from him?
So I'll give you David, thanks for jumping on, repping St. Cloud State and Buffalo High School. Let's go. But a couple injury updates. It looks like, let's see here. Who got Cam Robinson? Is going ankle undergo further evaluation.
Yeah.
Ivan Pace had his hamstring re-aggravated and got kind of rolled up on. And I haven't seen any specific. They usually don't give you a whole lot until they reevaluate early in the week and then Wednesday. CJ Ham lost his grandfather this morning.
Oh.
Spent some time with him this morning before he passed, it sounds like.
Oh, wow.
So that was a thing today. But I think more injury information will come out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and we'll see. But right now, they're down to their third string. Quessenberry, they're down to their third string left tackle.
My guess is you can tape up a left tackle's ankle. I'm much more concerned about Pace. Like a hamstring, you can't just play through that.
Yeah.
Also, KOC saying on that onside kick, that quote, "I'm going to see that for many sleepless nights moving forward."
He should. He should.
Yeah.
Just to make fans feel a little better about the ugly nature of this win, and even if you want to go up and down the whole road trip, today in the NFL is a great example of if you can just get a win, and then we can worry about sort of the macros later. But the Chiefs had to kick a game-winning field goal to beat the Panthers 30-27 today. They blew a two-score lead and then had to kick a game-winning field goal. The Texans lost at home to the Titans 32-27. The Commanders lost at home to the Cowboys with Cooper Rush. After they came back, I think they scored an 80-yard touchdown, and then the kicker missed the extra point with 20 seconds left.
Well, and that's again why you can't trust kickers.
Yep.
Brutal. And then there's some other weird stuff going on around the league here too. Like the Raiders are beating the Broncos right now. A 2-8 Raiders team
almost beat the Chiefs. I mean, they came back and made it interesting. Yeah, right? The whole thing is
right.
A weird
But
week
you
in
know what?
football.
Still, dude, if the kick doesn't go 10 yards, don't get near it. What are you doing? I get weird things happen. That wasn't weird. That was basic stupidity.
Can I say this? Agreed. Dude, there's so many things to fillet this team for in the final half. One of my other takeaways, and you kind of touched on it with Eberflus in our Caleb Williams discussion. I watch the Bears and think, that's a good team that just needs more leadership and organization.
Yes.
They're 4-7. They probably should be 7-4. And they're just stuck with this ridiculous coaching staff. And now the vibes are kind of weird because they've lost a couple bad close games and their schedule is brutal. They needed to really rack up wins at the beginning of the season. But
yep.
Yeah, if they get the right coach, that's going to be interesting next year.
So they were absolutely fine until the Washington game. And if you recall, part of that was they have a player taunting fans and ignoring the play. That comes down to you are awfully coached. That is being terribly coached. If you're not concerned about the repercussions there, then your coach is a joke.
Yep, that was You're right. That was when it all. There were some signs early, the offense was weird, but
He's at the stands. He is trolling fans as Jaden Daniels is pumping the ball downfield.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress.
Let's keep it going here. Vikings Vent Line.
All right, let's go to Southeast Wisconsin. Bill here on Vent Line. Bill. There we got him.
Oh, okay.
We got the audio at least, Bill. You can hear us, right?
I can start to see Bill.
Hey, I just have a question. With Florida's defense, I've seen this a couple times. It seems to melt in the second half against teams that, well, I guess the Bears offensive coordinator was new and he probably had time to look at it, but it just didn't seem to gel like it normally does. What do you see about that?
So,
Judd, second half defense. Yeah, there's been some stuff this season. What do you think?
I think one thing is I think there are definitely pockets that good teams can, or good offenses potentially can exploit in the passing game. I think they're, and Pace, when Pace or before him Cashman are out, that definitely hurts. But here's the thing. Caleb Williams, like, you could tell he's young right now, right? So he's up and down. Like, he makes some bad plays, he misses some passes he shouldn't. I think the guy's pretty damn good though. And so he can exploit areas of your defense that have some inherent weaknesses that some teams don't and can't. And I actually thought for the most part that the Bears, the guy was their passing game coordinator, and now he's calling plays as their OC. I thought that their game plan was really pretty good. Caleb missed some throws, and again, they make some stupid mistakes. But that being said, I came away from this game with a whole new appreciation for what Chicago is and isn't. Like, I originally thought, okay, looks like I know that they've got talent, but looks like a complete dumpster fire. And I think from an overall standpoint, that's true. But like, Phil, if we're talking about like the soft shell and the pieces in the middle that you can exploit from a passing game standpoint, with, by the way, some guys that are definitely good receivers, Chicago did that. I don't think it's possible to eliminate that entirely. I think tackling helps a lot, but you're not going to entirely eliminate offenses that have a multitude of things that they can potentially go to.
Here's another just credit to Caleb, I guess. According to PFF, Brian Flores dialed up blitzes on 41% of pass plays, which is like pretty much in line with what he does on the season. And against the blitz, rookie Caleb Williams was 15 for 20 for 189 yards, 9.5 yards per attempt, a touchdown, no interceptions, and an in-game grade of 93.7 PFF against the blitz. He handled the blitz really, really well today. And maybe this is where we lean on our guy, Alex Boone. Maybe the Vikings were just not doing their job with some of the twists and stunts and the things they normally do. But and then here's another one, because they were trailing for most of this game, right, in kind of these must-pass situations. So you're a rookie quarterback against one of the most aggressive, confusing defenses in the league, and they know you're going to pass. And with no play action, he was 67% completions, 6 yards per attempt, 251 yards. He was good, man. He was really good today. And he, like you said, if you get the right coaching staff around him, he's going to get better.
Exactly.
All right, let's go to Andrew next to you on Vent Line. Andrew, what's up, man?
Oh,
Hey.
hey.
Baby, too.
Oh, wow.
Is that your child?
Yeah. Hey, I just had three quick things. So I've been to 3 games. I went to week 3 in 2022 against the Lions at home. That was my first game. KJ Osborne caught the game-winning touchdown against from Kirk Cousins. Second game was against the Falcons last year, which was awesome. Josh Dobbs. This year, we went to the game last week against the Titans. That was fun. So, second thing I wanted to mention was y'all were talking this week about the live-action Vikings movie.
Yeah.
I always listen to your show on Spotify, so I didn't know anyone's faces or anything until about a month ago. And Randy from Cottage Grove would be Danny Trejo.
Oh, I like it.
If you close your eyes and you just listen, it's Danny Trejo.
I can hear that. I can definitely hear that now.
Last thing I had was I have a curse with buying jerseys. So if y'all have a jersey, the jersey I buy, the guy either gets cut or injured or traded. So if y'all have like a jersey idea for the future, I would love
if
to
you
hear
could
it.
snag a Johnny Munt jersey real quick this week, maybe.
Yeah.
I was thinking I've got Hawkinson, Addison, Jefferson. I got Eric Kendricks. I got KJ Osborne. I got Kirk Cousins. So just who should I buy for the future that will actually be on the team for at least 2 years, 4 years, something like that.
Yeah, well, Daniel Jones as the long-term backup quarterback, according to reports today.
Yeah, get me on. Write that down. I would love to be on it eventually. And Skull Vikings.
Love
Thanks,
it, man.
Andrew.
Andrew, thanks for coming on. He's got the newborn Vikings fan subjected to a life
That kid
of
was
pain.
like, what are we doing here?
Dad, you know this. You know
I
how
wanna
this
go
is going to
eat.
end, Dad. Yeah, come on,
Yeah.
guy.
Let's go eat.
All right, who's next on Vikings Vent Line? Purple Daily YouTube channel.
All right, let's go to Oscar. Hey, Oscar, what's up, man? You're on
Oscar.
Vikings Vent Line.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, man.
Hey, what's up? First and foremost, I just want to say I appreciate all of you guys. I love what you guys do. Keep it up. Second of all, Johnny Munt needs to go. Sick of it. And third, what do you guys think of KOC? I know we've talked a lot about it, and I listen to you guys all the time. First time caller, by the way. How do you see him being on the hot seat? I guess is my question. Because so don't get me wrong, I believe he is a great play caller and I love what he does. But lately, like even going back to last year, like we're starting to see what I feel like we're starting to see of a lot of one possession games going back to last year, and it's kind of a revolving pattern, I think. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Thanks for the kind words, Oscar. Judd, you want to start with your answer?
I mean, the hot seat? No, he's won 9 games. He is now going to get this team to the playoffs. It looks like almost certainly 2 times in his first 3 years. Is he perfect? No. Is any coach perfect? No. I guess here's my question. If you think that, and I don't, but if you thought there was any chance that he was going to get blown out, who would you bring in to replace him who you see as a better alternative? And by the way, remember, we can complain about a lot of things, but remember, when you're a head coach, you're responsible for the entire program. So everything is yours. So like, as far as with we've talked about the culture here. Well, you can joke about culture, but the Vikings have an outstanding one right now. It's been a long time since I felt like the Vikings were on this solid of track. And I guess I don't understand. And 1-score games, as we just talked about, are the nature of this entire league.
Yeah.
So I am confused by people who think that he in any way, shape, or form might be under pressure, because I could not disagree more.
I think what happens a lot when we talk about coaches in the NFL is we blur the line between things that need to be corrected versus things that put you on the hot seat. If you are Matt Eberflus and in year 3 you have 2 wins against teams that are above 500, you're on the hot seat. If you're Kevin O'Connell and maybe you should have cleaned up that 4th and 1 play call and maybe this thing should have been tweaked or this other thing over here, but you have a better career winning percentage in the regular season than John Harbaugh, Sean Payton, Mike McCarthy, Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, Mike McDaniel, and Dan Campbell, you should be nowhere near a hot seat. I think we need to separate. Okay, he's not perfect, and Andy Reid's not perfect. Like, he's the closest thing to perfect. So we can definitely look at that thing there and say that should be tweaked and that thing over there should be tweaked. But KOC is much closer to being one of the 6 or 7 best head coaches in the league than he is to being anywhere near a hot seat right now.
Yeah, and let's not forget too that he and his offensive staff are largely responsible for the fact that Sam Darnold has been resurrected from the football graveyard.
Yeah.
Like we can bicker about play calls for sure, which I think is fun, but when you're looking at, like, don't assume that Darnold, oh man, he's turned it around. He could have gone to Jacksonville this season and done the same thing. He could have gone to any team.
Yep.
But like, one reason that Daniel Jones, and I don't think that he plays here eventually, but anyway, one reason why Daniel Jones is tied into, hey, the Vikings might kick the tires, is O'Connell's going to fall into that bin of guys who will now be seen as the resurrector of quarterbacks who were considered to be, or who were high draft picks. So I don't get it. I just don't get it. And I saw a comment here before that said he's horrible at play calling and at managing the game. Ladies and gentlemen, I watched PJ Fleck yesterday, okay? and I don't want to talk about the Gophers, but that is horrible. Like that is having no feel for a game. To associate O'Connell with being horrible at this job,
dude, it's
wild. It's ridiculous, and I love our listeners and our viewers, and I appreciate them. But my God, haven't you seen other examples of when it's bad? This is not bad.
If you, again, not to I don't want to dunk here, but if you watch that game today, if you watch that game today and thought KOC is bad at his job, the Chicago Bears have one of the 5 or 6 best pass defenses in the league. We documented that this week. They've held opposing quarterbacks to an 80.2 passer rating this year. Good pass defense, hard place to play, outdoors, cold, grass. Vikings fans have been through everything at Soldier Field, right? And Sam Darnold is your quarterback. That cannot be emphasized enough. Sam Darnold is your quarterback.
Right.
And this offense racked up 452 yards, 7 yards of play. Game-winning drive when special teams and defense didn't hold up their end of the bargain. Yes. And if not for an Aaron Jones fumble on the 1-yard line, they score 37 points. Or I guess you could say 34 because they don't need the field goal in overtime to win the game. But it's again, maybe that 4th and 1 play I take issue with. That's the micro. The macro is KOC is awesome at his job. Awesome at his job. And we should make a new rule on the show. Because we'll take dissenting opinions all day long on this show. But if you think KOC should be on a hot seat or fired, you have to give at least one person that you would want to replace him. This guy is available and absolutely better as a head coach. With Eberflus, there's a list a mile long, right? KOC?
Right. Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I know it's weird.
We'll go back to the Vent Line callers here. Let's go to Rich next year. What's up, Rich? You're on Vent Line.
What's up, guys? Just a couple things to vent about. When we're going into the 4th quarter up 2 scores and we can make it a 3-score game when they've only scored 2 times in the first 3 quarters, I think we need to kick that field goal and put the game away. I don't see the Bears scoring 3 times after that. Running it out of shotgun when we need 1 yard kind of bothered me a little bit too, only because we didn't get it, obviously. So, and then my biggest gripe of the day is, can't bind him. You got to come up with that ball, man. I want to see the next celebration.
He did too.
Oh man,
you could tell he did too because he got up and he was laughing because I think he was like, I had my next one going.
But whining, we're 9-2, and I'll be at the game next week when we take on the Cardinals. My dad's an Arizona fan, so hopefully I'll be calling that one for a W. So
nice.
Thank you guys.
Awesome, man. Yeah, Rich, thanks for coming on. Sneaky, interesting game there between Vikings and Cardinals.
Oh, God,
be fun
next week, man.
Absolutely. So if we do want to talk about one thing that it would be nice to get cleaned up consistently, I do think that the run game in the red zone is a conversation. Now, Jones did score, as you talked about, Phil, to end that incredible 27-game streak of no second half rushing touchdowns. But, I mean, there are definitely some things, and it's not like O'Connell doesn't know this. He's trying to clean this stuff up, too. But, I mean, the turnovers, the inability, and I don't sort of get it, to run the ball. I don't know if Boone has talked about that it might be an offensive line problem or what, but there's definitely some things. But I think sometimes we mistake, and I get this, but I think sometimes we talk about play calling, and we talk about play calling as if the lack of execution was a bad play call.
Right.
Like I think it's way more.
Great point.
I think it's way more in the weeds. Like we just want to say play did not work, so it was a bad play call.
Right.
So on the fumble, they showed the all 22, the end zone cam.
Yep.
And so we're on the 1 yard line. Run the ball, right? Like just literally get a yard and run the ball, even though you've been struggling at it. So they run the ball. I don't know that. I mean, I'm sure some people had an issue with the play call, but you can't in these short yard situations, 4th and 1. You can't get mad when they go shotgun and throw an incomplete pass and say, "Why don't you run it?" And then on the flip side, when it's 1 yard goal to go or 2 yards goal to goal, say, "Why are you running the ball? You need to be passing the ball." So like you're going to and should run the ball in short yardage. And they showed that all 22 footage, and Cam Robinson got absolutely blown off the line of scrimmage, and it altered the course of the play. It's a weak link system, right? If one of the offensive linemen gets blown off the ball, it creates a flood effect. But yeah, it would be interesting and also sort of masochistic and painful to just literally go through with Alex Boone on a trenches session, all of the red zone, like the deep red zone inside the 10-yard line runs and see, okay, is there a culprit here? Are there things creatively that they should be doing differently from a play calling standpoint or a schematic standpoint, or is it just they're getting beat by the opposing team's defensive players?
Mm-hmm. Let's go to Trevor next year on Vikings Vent Line. Hey, Trevor, what's up, man?
Hey guys, very stressful game today, but hey, we're 9-2, and it feels good. You know, coming into the season, it would have been crazy to say we're 9-2 at this point, and KOC being on the hot seat, I think is crazy. Like, I think he should be the front runner for Coach of the Year. He's turned Sam Darnold into an absolute stud. Like 21 touchdowns. He hasn't turned the ball over the last couple of weeks. Like, you could say he's better than Kirk Cousins in those late game situations. Like, how many times did we have penalties drawing us back on that last drive, 1st and 20, 1st and 15? He also took a sack on the very first, before we first got a first down. And he just kept reeling us down the field and got a game-winning field goal. Like, props to Sam Darnold. He looks really good. And KOC, 9-2, one game off the best record in the league. Like, I think he should be Coach of the Year candidate for sure.
Yeah, he's on a short list, man. Trevor, thanks. Good
Tomlin,
point.
Harbaugh, Jim.
Dan Quinn until
KOC.
lately.
Yeah. Well, and Tomlin, I mean, and Pittsburgh lost in the Snow Globe game on Thursday. I don't know if that derails this, but I do think that the resurrection of Darnold is probably something that we can't talk about enough.
Yeah, and again, like we sit here and we do these post game shows, and it's Purple Daily is a daily show, so we dissect in the weeds the microest of the micro things. But if we rewind back to training camp, and say, hey, so JJ McCarthy, let's just say day of the injury, JJ McCarthy is donezo. So this is a Sam Darnold led team going forward. You don't know how it happened, but the Vikings are 9-2 with a top 5 point differential, and Sam Darnold has a passer rating well over 100.
Yes.
Are you happy?
And just to add to that equation, they are near the top of the league in turnovers.
So yeah, so despite
be like they're dead.
Shooting yourself in the foot twice a game, yeah, for sure. Hey, before we get to even more Vikings fans here, boys, let's talk about this Pepsi Cup here, this glorious 32-ounce. I know that Justin Jefferson wasn't used a whole lot today,
Who's that
but
again?
Yeah, this is Justin Jefferson. So he's the Vikings' 4th wide receiver behind T.J. Hawkinson, Jordan Addison, Aaron Jones. But these 32-ounce special edition Justin Jefferson souvenir cups are available inside local Hy-Vee Fast and Fresh locations. And there's a QR code on the side. You can scan it where you can enter to win Victor's Ride, a glorious Vikings-themed Polaris ATV that Jason from Egan won last year. So yeah, stop into any local Hy-Vee Fast and Fresh location, grab one of these cups, put some, Pepsi in it, and maybe send a picture via Twitter/X of your Justin Jefferson souvenir cup. So appreciate the support from Pepsi this season. Also, the Fillmore, downtown Minneapolis, host of last year's Purple Daily Draft Party, and also host of fun concerts, Declan. Tell them.
Yeah, great spot. Kip Moore, a good big country artist, was there last night, I saw. They have some other big shows coming up. Steel Panther will be there this week. Got a Taylor Swift night coming up in February that I know Judd's probably absolutely super excited for.
Oh, yeah.
I know he's more of a Taylor Swift show. Very excited. I know, we were looking, Judd and I, fun fact, we're looking up Taylor Swift lyrics at Twins games at points this season to, really dissect them. So I'm sure he's really going to be looking forward to that Taylor Swift show at the Fillmore coming up. ScoreNorth.com/tickets to check out all the great shows that are coming to the Fillmore this year.
I got no problem with her.
Maybe we'll do a Judd Tay-Tay podcast spinoff of Purple Daily here. Also, Nicolay Law, the exclusive personal injury law firm of Purple Daily. Russell Nicolay and his team, very locally rooted here in the Twin Cities. They're just your normal everyday folks that happen to have law degrees and the brains to get you the compensation you deserve after an accident. So if you or a loved one have been injured and life is a little complicated, get Minnesota's local award-winning injury lawyers, nicolaylaw.com, or give them a call at 1-855-NICOLAY, Dex.
All right, let's go to Dylan next year. What's up, Dylan? You're on Vent Line.
Hey guys, been watching your show for a couple of years. Do a really good job. I don't know how you stay on top of everything, Deck. I mean, that's amazing to me. But I just wanted to mention JJ was getting those pass interference. I mean, he lost a 50-yarder to it. He lost what would have been a 20-yard catch, I think, that he might have had some yards after the catch. And it's weekly that he's losing these catches to pass interference. I remember back when Randy Moss would get touchdowns taken away on pass interference. And I mean, he's still probably all time with touchdowns. But with the way they keep statistics these days, how is there not a stat for, how many yards an offense has benefited on a receiver getting a pass interference call? And the inverse of that for secondary players and cornerbacks who don't get the ball thrown at them because they're so good. It'd be an interesting statistic to track, I guess, was my only thought on the game, because it looked like he was getting a little frustrated. Top all time in 5 seasons. Granted, he has 17 games, but he's missed some to injury. He wants to get his 100 yards a game, and I can't blame him for that. So I guess that was my only thought in the game. And then obviously Munt, that was just idiotic. I mean, the ball didn't go 10 yards.
Correct. Just back off.
That's all I have. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, no, Dylan, thanks, man. Yeah, that would be if you could add to like the player statistics, their receiving yards, and then how many additional.
That's gotta be tracked, right?
Well, they track pass interference yardage for sure, and then they definitely track on the defensive side, to his point about cornerbacks, like how many times you're targeted.
Yes.
But you can't go on like Pro Football Reference or NFL.com and see Jefferson has 800 receiving yards and an additional 300 yards of pass interference.
Someday you'll get that, right?
Oh yeah, well.
But it is interesting. Yeah,
two today for 45 yards.
Yeah.
That he
and then 27 yards of actual. So he actually accounted for whatever the math is there.
Right.
70 some yards.
Yeah. So he had a huge impact on the game despite the stats. So doesn't bother me.
Let's go to Nathan next year on Vent Line. Hey Nathan, how are you?
Hi, I'm pretty good. So I had a couple of takes. The offensive line just bad, especially in the second half. I didn't really like seeing all that pressure getting into Darnold's face like that. And the cornerbacks, they just keep letting up all these big plays. I don't understand what's going on with that.
Yeah, Nathan, I think on the offensive line, I mean, the explanation is we almost kind of forget watching the game that they went from a future Hall of Fame left tackle, if he stays healthy, in Christian Darrisaw, to having Cam Robinson, who even at his best in a system that he knows really well in Jacksonville was maybe like a league average left tackle, and then down to Quessenberry, who's just a backup, and you're kind of shuffling right guards. So, we almost breeze past the Darrisaw thing more than we should. Like that, when the Niners lose Trent Williams, it's a huge freaking deal, and their offense takes a huge hit. Well, yeah, when you lose one of the best players in the league, who Christian Darrisaw is, the offensive line is going to look a little ragtag once in a while.
Yeah, and I think that to their credit, because they went out so quickly and replaced Darrisaw with Cam, we thought, oh man, okay, it's going to be, well, it's not an equal swap. It's an upgrade on Quessenberry, but it's not. And the thing about the coverage is this: the cornerbacks are exploitable. Like if they're old, and Gilmore does a nice enough job, and I think Griffin's okay, but like that remains a huge question mark. Like that's not if the quarterback has time to throw and the receivers can get into their routes, I don't think it's a given that, it's absolutely fine. So I think, again, we saw today, Williams was good. Keenan Allen was good. I mean, he looked great, I thought.
Yeah.
Rome Odunze was good. He's really good. Didn't catch a ton of passes, but he was effective. So that is going to be, when you get to the playoffs, and I'm assuming that you're playing a good team, like that's going to be an issue. If you cannot get enough pressure, if you can't disrupt the quarterback and get him off his spot, or he can move, which is what we saw today, like this is not a problem of it's fixed. This is a problem of you are literally trying to get through this season with those corners. And by the way, the decision on Saturday, and I don't know if he's come back on the practice squad or not, but Caleb Evans, another member of your 2022 draft class, is now gone. Like you have some real holes there that you're going to, I think, at least try to fill one with a pretty big splash in free agency come March, don't you?
To the Caleb, yes, to the Caleb Evans point. So he might come back to the practice squad, but now that he's gone, who's the best player on the 2022 draft class? Is it Jalen Naylor?
It might be Jalen Naylor.
Who had another big third down drop today.
I think there were 10, I think there were 10 draft picks, and I think 5 are now officially gone. If you don't have Evans coming back to the practice squad, and 5 are still there. But that's Ingram, who's been benched, Ty Chandler, who is now nothing more than a kickoff return guy, Naylor, Nick Muse, who just came back from IR, and I think one more.
Vidarian Lowe, who had 4 penalties in the first half for the Patriots today.
They got like a 6th-round pick from the Patriots last year for him. That was a Christmas miracle.
Dude, they got a 6th-round pick for Vidarian Lowe, and you guys want Kwesi fired. Think about that.
Hot seat.
That is wizardry.
No, he's just on a very big hot seat, like everybody else. Hot seat.
See, Kwesi can be like, hey, well, you guys are ripping me. And I got a 6th-round pick for Vidarian Lowe. Okay, so
abracadabra. Magic.
All right, let's keep going here, Dex.
Yeah, let's go to Matt next year on Vikings Vent Line. Hey, Matt. Matt, I think we're having audio issues on your end. Just check your microphone on the input settings on the website. I think there might be just something to miss there. We'll get back to you, though. In the meantime, we'll go to John. John, what's up, man? You're on Vent Line.
Hey, guys. Hey, Skull from Fort Worth. Super excited for the win today.
I love the chimes.
Boy, the chimes rocking.
Yeah. You probably won't like the Hawkeye flags too much.
Well, I love how the Hawkeyes figured out how to score 40 points once in a while here offensively. Congrats to the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, it's about time they figured it out. Hey, say hi to my dog. Her name is Justine Rufferson.
Justine Rufferson. Who's a good girl?
Oh, who's catching all the passes?
She is definitely catching them all. Hey, my friends will tell you I'm a statistical nut. I have a bunch of Excel files. I keep track of stuff. I know stuff about this team I shouldn't know. 151 and 53 now. All time the Vikings are when they lead at halftime on the road.
Wait, 151 and 53, or is that what you said?
151 and 53.
Okay.
When they lead on the road at halftime.
I'd love some. If you could do the other teams, we have some context as to how good that record is.
That might take a little work. It took me a while to go through all the seasons of the Vikings and put that all together in an Excel file. But the last point I'll leave you guys with, it was super awesome today to be here in Fort Worth, right here in DFW, and chanting Romo, Romo, Romo.
Yes.
Went through the uprights.
Exactly.
So,
Love
really appreciate
man.
you guys. You guys are awesome. Keep up the great work, and we love you down here in Texas. Skull.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Let's keep going here, Dex. We got a few more for sure.
Yeah. Let's go to Mike. What's up, man? You're on Vent Line.
How's it going, guys? I'm out in Bismarck, North Dakota, so we're keeping the skull going around the country.
Yeah.
Appreciate you having me on. First time. Couple things. Next week, I take my 8-year-old son to his first Vikings game. Super excited. He's a huge fan. It's going to be great. This week, though, we had to teach him. He's like, why are we kicking this field goal? Why are you so worried, Dad? Why are you worried, Dad, that we're kicking this field goal from the 10 or the 12, wherever we were? I had to explain all the pain and agony that kickers have caused us as Vikings fans, and it was a difficult moment for me. He was dancing around the living room saying, we won, when they were onside kicking. I'm like, Kobe, please calm down. You can't jinx us like this, son. This is terrible.
He learned, though. He learned.
He's learning. Yeah.
Son, if the Bears score a touchdown in overtime, it's on you specifically.
Yeah. You're not going next week anymore if the Bears win this game.
If Keenan Allen gets into the end zone, we're canceling our trip.
And then Johnny Munt had to actually go, 8 yards and touch the ball for your son to learn a valuable lesson, which is with the Vikings, the improbable is the probable, and it's going to be bad a lot of times.
Yeah. It was way more of a sweat than it needed to be, but we pulled it out, guys. Appreciate everything you do. See you next week.
All right, Mike. Thanks for coming on, man. Love it.
Let's go to Blake and the dogs here next.
Yeah,
Blake?
he's trying to make his bed, and he's getting stuck behind the curtains.
Yeah, my dog.
It's tough. Yeah, he's kind of circled
And then
there.
we have Hazel.
Oh.
How we doing? They've been jumping on my phone all night. But go Hawkeyes. The Vikings can take a lesson from the best rushing attack in college football.
They should. You know what, Mike? Was it somebody went to school on like Pittsburgh's defense, or was that Flores last year?
Flores.
Yeah, like we can learn from college schemes. Let's make it happen.
Caleb Johnson, 22 rushing touchdowns this year.
Yeah.
Guy's a
So
stud.
21
that's
here.
Main point I want to bring up
Yeah, he had
is
21 in the second half
He
against
had
the Gophers.
21 against the Gophers. We saw it. You don't have to tell us.
But that Michigan game, the Gophers in Michigan, that's karma for that I can't swear, but for that care catch call last year.
I love how Iowa comes out, smokes the Gophers in the second half, and you guys are still upset about
That game
ancient
was,
history.
Those teams sucked. No one should have won. Why are we arguing about it like either one was any good?
Dude, Iowa was like, if Iowa would have won that game, they would have been.
And that's why they blew up the Big Ten West entirely, because they're like, we can't have this crap on television anymore.
I am not a delusional Hawkeye fan. We got the most boring offense in the history of mankind. So I'm not going to defend the Hawkeyes that much, but that was not a fair catch. I'm still salty about that.
Love it, man.
One thing I want to bring up is we know CJ Ham is on the team, and Aaron Jones, I've noticed this year, a lot of his fumbles have been on the 1 yard line. There was one game a couple games ago, receiving, fumbled on the 1 yard line. Today, fumbled on the 1 yard line. Why aren't we using guys like CJ Ham or Cam Akers in those short yard situations and really start mixing and matching? Because it seems like Aaron Jones, great running back, not doubting his talent, but it just seems like our red zone offense, nothing's working. Like, that's our Achilles heel of this whole team, is once we get in that 20-yard range, our offense shuts down. Well, it's like we can't keep moving forward. So do you think maybe it's time to use some powerhouse football and bring in CJ Ham like Iowa does with Caleb Johnson? Once they're in within the red zone, it's give the ball to Johnson and let him storm into the end zone.
Yeah, no, Blake and the Dogs, great stuff, man. Thanks for coming on. I would think at some point you would try something different, but I think it's more of an offensive line issue than it is an Aaron Jones. I mean, the fumbles are on Aaron, but also like Cam Robinson gets blown off the ball, and now there's a defender in your lap. Yeah, it's multi-pronged.
Yeah, I don't think, yes. The fumble was bad, and he's talking, I think, about the fumble that occurred here against San Francisco, which was on a catch, actually. But I don't think the goal was to be like, Aaron Jones is going to move the ball between the 20s, and then CJ Ham is going to get the touchdowns, which, by the way, I love, because that's very 1996, for instance.
Leroy Horde.
Yes, just a guy who just comes in and feeds off touchdowns. But, yeah, I think it's more than one thing, and I don't know that it's Aaron Jones' ineptitude necessarily across the board. That's why I would be curious to like have a football expert go through what you talked about with Boone, Phil, which is actually breaking down these possessions and seeing, is there a problem with the play calls? Are the play calls fine and the structure's not fine? Is the personnel not working? Like, that's the thing, is I would love to have somebody say, hey, look, Aaron Jones is bad there, before I just assume a guy who once scored a bunch of red zone touchdowns is bad in the red zone.
I can tell you so with Jeremiah and Alex on the O-line committee, we break down like league-wide film. And when you watch the Lions, probably done like 6 or 7 Lions breakdowns, just anecdotally, they do a better job of using pre-snap motions throughout the game that you have to pay attention to. It's like, okay, they're doing this again. They're running Amon-Ra St. Brown across, and it's more confusing to read initially for defenses, in my opinion, than what the Vikings are doing pre-snap. They might also have the personnel where they feel comfortable with that. So that's number one. The Lions also have, in Jahmyr Gibbs, one of the 4 best running backs in the NFL. He statistically, because he shares with David Montgomery, and Montgomery is a wrecking ball. So you could argue that they have 2 better running backs, especially inside the 20-yard line, than the Vikings have. And most importantly, they have the best offensive line in the NFL. And they oftentimes bring in an extra 300-pound body in some of those situations.
Which I've suggested.
Yeah. So
I would go heavy.
When you combine creative, deceptive scheme with awesome running backs, and Jahmyr Gibbs explosive, and an offensive line that gets push, that's why the Lions do what they do and cash in the red zone and short yardage. And, I mean, they check all 3 of those boxes.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, Dex.
All right, let's wrap up with Matt here. What's up,
Can
Matt?
you hear me now, guys?
Yeah, we got you.
Perfect. So when Phil said earlier in the show, he said, I thought more people would be mad. I had to email back in. I was like, man, if Phil wants anger, I'm angry. Because I was angry earlier in the day, but then I was listening to you guys. I was listening to everyone else, and I've calmed down a little bit. It's all good. We're 9-2. Can't complain. But the last sequence, that 4th and 1, like when they clearly had the QB sneak drawn up. They called a timeout. They switched the play. All the momentum went to Chicago's side of the ball. And like, just so much went wrong there. And I'm sitting there in overtime, and they take that kind of move over to center the ball. And like, they call a timeout, and they're going to kick it with 2:11 left. And what if he misses this? You give them 2 minutes to go down the other end of the field. They could have milked a clock an extra minute. With our PTSD of missed field goals, I just was so angry at that moment. But I'm glad they won. Glad I was able to get on the show again. Guys, love the show. Daily listener, so thanks.
Awesome, man. Matt, thank you for rounding us out
Calm down
here.
nicely. Calm down very nicely.
If we would have gotten to Matt earlier during his rage, it might have been.
Can you imagine if
spicy.
that field goal misses or gets blocked?
Oh man.
And then the conversation. Whew, boy.
If this game would have ended in a tie, that would have been the dirtiest feeling. I'd rather just lose.
Yeah.
Just
I hate
stick a
ties,
dagger
too.
in. Yeah.
Ties suck because one, they just suck, and two, for math, for non-mathematicians like me, now you get into like winning percentage, and you got to split the tie.
Yeah,
and
like,
I'm
what
going
do
to tell
you
you
do
right
with it?
now, my brain does not work. I don't think ties should be allowed in football. I hate it.
It is weird. It's like, okay, am I supposed to be mad? I guess I'm mad, but not as mad as if it was a loss.
And so
I just want a definitive feeling, you know?
Are you in like 2 1/4 games behind Detroit too?
Or did you get like a half a win? You know,
Yeah.
is it
It's
good
half
that you
and
have like a
half,
half a win? I don't know.
But I mean, my brain literally blows up. I can't do that math. So no more ties.
Let's blow your shoulders up one more time.
Hold on a second. Wait, hold on. And then there we go. The Trojans
9
actually
and
doing
2.
Pretty well. And here you go. You can also have your. There we go.
The creepiest looking.
Dancing
So
Viking.
scary.
It's a dancing
Terrifying.
Viking.
Dude, do you ever like?
Look, he dances. He's so happy they won.
It's gonna be terrifying when you get up to like go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, and this thing follows you into the
He's
bathroom.
walking out?
He's just standing next to your bed.
Yeah.
It won't be any more terrifying than 98, 2009, 2017. We can go through it all. I've seen it all.
Yeah, you see it all until
There's
that thing's
nothing this little guy can do
until
that's
that
gonna
thing's wielding a butcher knife instead of a plastic football.
Or trying to kick a field goal.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
got the single bar, so he could kick field goals.
Oh man, wow, what a time to be alive. If you don't feel alive as a Vikings fan after that game right there,
Oh yeah, I feel something.
So Vikings win. Vikings are 9-2, and they've got home games exclusively for the next few weeks. They have not played a home game in like a month, right?
Right.
So
Colts
they
game,
will. Yeah, so I guess the Colts game and then the three road games. So they're at home. You got the Cardinals and the old Kirky boy coming back here.
Yeah.
And tomorrow we'll have our hottest Vikings takes live at 9 a.m. Central Time on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. Chef Judd has a pie chart of praise, which should be interesting.
Gonna get some help too, right?
Okay. Oh, he's gonna respond someday, and
It's legitimately one of the scariest things.
I love
I've
the fact
ever
that Declan
seen.
is legitimately scared.
Yeah,
too.
no, it is terrifying. That doll is
Do
terrifying.
you want him to
Judd.
come stay with you for a week?
Never.
Dex?
I'll burn that thing if it comes in. I will light
You
it
can't-
on fire.
He's
I will
Chucky
light it
like
on
then. He'll
fire,
get
man.
you. You saw that. They tried to kill Chuck. You can't kill Chucky.
Yeah, I would light it on fire. No, thank you.
we may find some Bears Vent Line as well for tomorrow. We'll see what they might just be numb to all of this, so it might not even be interesting, but we'll monitor. All right, boys. Good session here. Vikings Vent Line on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before that doll kills us.